X's and O's on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings radio network is underway, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery, into a Monday night game against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field, heard right here, FM 100.3, KFAN, and the Vikings radio network. We also welcome those of you joining us via Vikings.com. And here's the head coach. You have 4 games to go. You know, outside of some recent COVID-related news, the team is mostly healthy. What do you like about your chances to rattle off a bunch of wins at the end of the season?
Yeah, well, I think it's important that we get these guys back, start to get them back healthy, playing together again. You know, I think all those things are big. Also, you know, we have the ability, if we'll stay on our details and continue to, you know, play hard like we do, but we have to be really on top of it, on point of all the details, all the things that we have to do, and then go out and do it on Sunday, Monday this week.
Now, Mike McCarthy, coach of the Dallas Cowboys, guaranteed his Cowboys would beat Washington into the game. If you were the coach on the other side of that and somebody guaranteed they beat one of your teams, how would you feel about that?
Well, I'd probably bring it up a lot with the players, you know. So,
yeah.
You know, it worked out for them, I guess. But, you know, coaches don't play the game. You know, the players go out and play the game. And, you know, coaches try to get them ready the best they can and let them go out and play. So, I don't know.
Well, was there anything about Dalvin Cook's performance when you beat Pittsburgh that surprised you? I mean, what a tough guy. He has to be one of your all-time favorites.
Yeah, Dalvin's terrific. You know, he plays real hard. He's you know, for him to come back in 2 weeks like he did and do the things he was able to do, plus being able to, you know, lower that shoulder and fight for extra yards. He's a terrific player.
I've never asked you about his pass running routes, you know, when he gets out and runs whatever the route is, but the one that he ran where he kind of faked out to the right, then dashed to the middle like a tight end, and then Cousins, just with that accuracy, caught him in stride and it was a nice gain up the middle. Is that just an elite route run by a running back?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that Dalvin has really worked on is catching the football, you know, from his rookie year through now. But him being able to do that was probably one of the biggest plays in the game, with him being able to hit the seam, you know, against that linebacker.
Now with Dalvin, you know, maybe he's done this before, but I haven't seen it. Before that Pittsburgh game, he was the guy in the middle of everybody on the team after the warm-ups before they went back to the locker room. And I'm watching it through my binoculars. I got no idea what he says, but I'm like, if I'm partially hurt or if I'm like 51% and I'm kind of teetering, I'm never teetering again, seeing how much this guy wants to play, how bad his shoulder is, and then the performance he put forth. Is that fair to say it that way?
That's fair to say, and he's a guy that loves to play the game. He wants to compete. He wants to be out there with all of his other guys, and you know, he's talked in the locker room after games many times. He's not afraid to you know, tell people, let's go. We got 4 games left. Let's go do this. You know, things like that.
Now with Irv Smith Jr., you know, I mean, I know he was lost for the season. I've been meaning to ask you this question for a little while. Now that you're 13 through it, you know, Irv, he would give you some catching ability heading into a wonderful year, it looked like. Conklin's come through for the most part with what you're looking for, pass catching. But with Irv Smith Jr. not having him, like where have you missed him outside of catching? Maybe inline blocking?
Yeah, I mean, Irv does a nice job with his blocking, but, you know, mismatches is really where you look for Irv. He's a guy that, you know, gets on safeties and linebackers and has opportunities to, and also would help with the outside receivers with Justin and Adam as well. So I think all those things with him being in there, you know, we don't have to be as 3 wides as much as we have been, and could use the 2 tight ends a little bit more, and use him as a wide receiver. I think a lot of those things coming out of the backfield and, you know, some of the play action things that we run with him.
When you go unbalanced extra offensive lineman, where is Blake Brandel most helping?
Well, most of the time he's on the front side of the blocks, but you know, there are some times where he's got to go cut off an outside linebacker or defensive end if it's going the other way. But he does a good job there, and then also in protection. You know, when you got some of these big outside rushers coming in there, you know, you can get 4 hands on a guy if you got him and another guy there.
So if you're an offensive coordinator and you use that extra offensive lineman for running, protection, whatever, you're pulling the skill guy out of the offense. Is that a balance that you kind of have to talk about during the week?
Yeah, there's definitely a balance in that. You can't just never throw the ball when you're doing that, and vice versa with the running game. You got to make sure that you're not going one way. You got different formations that you use him on, and he's a smart guy. He's able to line up in a lot of different spots, which helps.
With your first-year offensive coordinator, Klint Kubiak, now at this stage of the equation, including mixing in Brandel and just doing some different things, no Thielen in the Steelers game, KJ jumps up. From a maturation standpoint, what have you seen with Klint from the beginning to the middle to where you are now?
I think Klint has become a lot more comfortable with calling the offense, calling the games as we're moving forward. Being able to talk to him about certain situations throughout the course of the year, I think has really helped. And then trying to put him in as many situations. But I really think he's done a really nice job. He's been able to keep these guys going, get them going and ready to go for the week, and then having some unique ideas as well.
This is Mike Zimmer, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm Paul Allen, X's and O's with the head coach, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Justin Fields is a 57% guy, so I would assume, this is no disrespect to Justin, who might have a very prosperous career, but getting him in second and third and long, getting that offense second and third, that has to be just tantamount.
Well, yeah, it's important that we do a really good job. He does use his legs really well. He's got a very strong arm, and he's missed a few weeks, but in the long run, he's done a nice job. And I think they're using him in a lot of good ways. I do think that they'll have some of the zone reads and some of those things that he can do, and some of the RPOs, obviously.
That second-year receiver, Darnell Mooney, he's even better than last year, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. Excellent speed, quickness, runs a lot of good routes, catches the ball well.
First punt return touchdown of the season went the way of the Bears. A cat named Jakeem Grant, former Dolphin, very, very fast. Not the biggest thing in the world. He's kind of a trick. They use him as a trick. Do they use him offensively much, running or throwing to him?
Yeah, they'll use him a lot. Some of the jet sweeps, some of the rockets, they'll use him as the guy that catches the bubble screens and things like that. But yeah, they use him a lot.
So with Tariq Cohen down, is that so do you watch Cohen tape to kind of figure out what they do with Grant?
Yeah, that's a little bit of it. They'll put him in the backfield some as well. And then, but yeah, it's very, very similar. He's obviously not the running back that Cohen was, but as far as dangerous out of the backfield or as a slot receiver, I think he's really dangerous.
How creative during the week, Mike, are you finding you're having to get, without Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin, to get the right pass rush at the right time? And this is not disrespecting your defensive lineman. Armon Watts is playing out of his skin right now. But nevertheless, how creative or outside of the box do you have to get?
Well, we try to. Part of it is, like I was talking about earlier, about the details, making sure that we can do it correctly and still be able to have everybody else do the right thing as well. So some of it is that, some of it's, just trying to disguise, some of it's trying to give these guys some different looks. So, you get some good one-on-one matchups.
Coach, what are some subtleties that really make Harrison Smith one of the better defensive players you've coached?
I think there's a few things. Number one, he's got great vision. He sees everything very, very quickly, and I think that is with all great players, they do that. But he disguises very well. He knows really what you're trying to set up, and then he can make it look something completely opposite before snap.
2 to go. Time for 2 more, Mr. Bob Hagan. Special teams this year, so much better than last season. What are some things Ryan Ficken has done to kind of settle everything with special teams?
Well, I think the big thing that he's done is he's simplified so that guys can play fast. They know where they're going. He harps a lot about not having penalties, about making sure you get your man blocked so we can get some plays down the field. But we've done a nice job there in really all the phases. It's been really good. We've had some punt fakes in there, that we've run. He comes up with a lot of good ideas and suggestions.
Are you a fan of trick plays? Like your team, the Vikings haven't faked a field goal since 2007. Not asking you to or predicting you will, but are you a fan of tricks like that?
Yeah, I do think faking a field goal is a little bit harder than faking a punt. There's a lot of guys right there at the line of scrimmage, and who's going to throw the ball or who's going to run it. So it makes it a little bit more difficult.
But everybody thinks they can throw. I mean, JJ thinks he could probably throw 30 times a game, have a passer rating of about 125. They all think they can do everything.
Yeah, they do.
Best of luck against these Bears, all right?